Hello, great people. Welcome back to our channel. We're so excited to have you again. One of the President Muhammadu Buhari's topmost anti-corruption advisor, Professor Sagi, took out time a week ago to talk about the fears he has in his mind, considering the fact that the Minister of Justice and Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami, may have some negative influence over the EFCC new chairman, Abdurrahid Bawa. And I'm going to read exactly what he said, because right now, the Attorney General of the Federation have also reacted, and this time around, he doesn't want to see Professor Sagi, one of the advisors of the president, around the president by what he's demanding the president to do. When he was being asked about, what is his expectation in respect to the appointment of Bawa, he said that his problem is actually the fact that both of them, that's talking about the new guy, that's the new EFCC boss, and the Minister of Justice and Attorney General of Federation, Malami. He said that both of them are from the same state, which is true. Both of them are from KB State, and they may even be related. According to him, he said, for me, this is not very healthy thing, because the chairman of the EFCC and the EFCC are supposed to be independent. They are not politicians. They are trained security officers. The Attorney General is a politician who has all the weaknesses and loads of a politician. He has people he is obliged to. He has people who are close to him. Some of them may be criminals who might have committed crime. In fact, some of them may deliberately do things because they think they know the Attorney General. So in such a situation, if Bawa is related to the Attorney General, then there will be a problem, because he will not be able to do his job freely, because Attorney General will certainly interfere. Those were the words of Professor Sagi, who is the chairman in charge of the Presidential Advisory Committee Against Corruption. And right now, the Attorney General of the Federation have reacted, and according to the news, Abubakar Malami, who is the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, has recommended the disbandment of the Presidential Advisory Committee Against Corruption, headed by Professor Sagi, to President Muhammadu Buhari. Sources said Malami's argument was that the committee has outlived its usefulness and should be disbanded like the Special Presidential Investigation Panel for the Recovery of Public Property, SPIP, formerly under the supervision of Okoye-Bonabla. President Buhari disbanded the SPID in September 2019 and transferred the duty of the panel to Malami. PACAC, which is a Presidential Advisory Committee Against Corruption, was established in August 2015 with the mandate to promote the reform agenda of the government on the anti-corruption effort and to advise the present administration in the prosecution of the war against corruption and the implementation of required reforms in Nigeria criminal justice system. It was gathered that the trouble began between Malami and PACAC over the committee's member believed that the minister was interfering in some of their works, especially on their reports on some corrupt Nigerians. The committee also incurred Malami's wrath when he declared public support for the reappointment of Ibrahim Magu, former acting chairman of the Economic and Financial Crime Commission, EFCC. However, Malami, in a memo to President Buhari, accused Magu of myriads of contravention, especially diversion of recovered loot, insubordination, and misconduct. He further said that Magu was not transparent enough in the management of recovered assets. Magu was later probed and found guilty of the charges leveled against him by the Justice Ayo Salami panel, which recommended his sack. The president thereafter appointed Abdurrahid Bawa, the Lagos zonal head of EFCC, as the substantive chairman of the anti-graft agency. Following Bawa's confirmation by the Senate, Saga has said Malami, as a person who recommended him for the position, will interfere in his work and will not allow him to operate. Responding, the minister, through the spokesperson Dr. Umar Gwando said Sagi is a confused old man whose vision is beclouded by speculation and guesswork. Speaking on Sunday, a presidency source said Malami has called for the disbandment of PACAC as the committee is no longer relevant to the anti-corruption war. The minister has made some recommendations, one of which is the disbandment of PACAC. It, however, remains to be seen whether the president will approve it or not. When contracted, Malami, who spoke through his media aide, said that only the presidency that established PACAC can determine whether it is still useful or not. PACAC is a presidential committee established by the presidency long before the appointment of Abubakar Malami's son as the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice and his assumption into office in 2015. The fate of the existing or otherwise of the committee is exclusive preserve of the presidency regardless of whether it outlives its usefulness or not. Also speaking, Professor Sagi said, contrary to what the minister or others may think, PACAC is still very relevant in the fight against corruption in the country. Listing some of the achievements of the committee since its formation, Sagi said, all I will say is that whatever he may think, the committee is still very relevant to the fight against corruption in this country. We provide the coordination of the two agencies, EFCC and ICPC. We train and help to mobilize and encourage our anti-corruption agency to be more effective. We have a lot of ideas that will have been pumping into the system which they are using. We have written books on prosecution, sentencing, and various other issues which are relevant to their work. Apart from actually training them, this is continuous progress. This issue of recovery, which is a major part of the work of the two agencies, is hugely a result of the various training that we gave to the agency in 2017 on recovery of assets when we found that sentencing the victim in politics was difficult. We thought, let us recover what they looted, and we invited experts from all over the world in that field to provide training, including United States personnel. So we are still very vital in the fight against corruption. Those were the words of Professor Sagi, who is in charge of the Presidential Advisory Committee Against Corruption. There is a war right now, and Sagi is one person who is not scared of opening up when it comes to issues of of clouding the truth. He will always speak out. And now the big question is the president going to heed the advice of Malami? Though Malami said he has no idea of what they are saying, but at the same time, if you look at the two people, Malami and Professor Sagi, for me, I don't really think that Sagi's duty they are very relevant, because corruption is still up there, So if truly you are doing your work perfectly well, we would have seen a huge reduction when it comes to, the issue of corruption. But at the same time, what Sagi is saying is absolutely true. EFCC should be independent in all its operation. If anyone wants to interfere, it should be in form of advising them. You just go in there, help in training them, or help in telling them things about, or giving them intels about what they are supposed to do at one end or the other, but not a case of them reporting to the person, because the person to some extent will influence a lot of things that is happening. But however, we'd like to leave it there. Go to our comment section. Let's interact. What do you think about the recommendation of Malami, the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice? Do you think it is traceable to what Sagi some days ago had said about his negative influence on the office of EFCC? Let's interact.